Shane was right.
What is that? What is that?
Welcome to my channel. My name is Koji. In this video, I'm going to talk about Shane Walsh in The Walking Dead and how right he was in the first two seasons of the show. So recently, I'm rewatching The Walking Dead because watching Last of Us rekindled my love for zombie apocalypse stories. So I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it. I'm in season 5 and it's awesome. And this whole rewatch experience puts Shane in a whole new different light. So let me talk about it. I know I'm not the first person to say this. There's a lot of Walking Dead fans who think that way. Shane was right. But I'm here to double down on it. Okay?
Hey, you're right, man. That is enough.
I remember hating him so much on my first watch because he's, selfish, like backstabbing, like hot-headed, disruptive, abrasive. If you gather all the terrible human traits, you get Shane Walsh. That's how bad he is as a person. But now I know the full context. I am watching it from a different perspective, right? I know what's gonna happen to them. I know what Rick eventually becomes. I know who dies or survives, right? And from that point of view, Shane is actually great. Shane is very helpful in that group. And considering how Rick becomes like Shane, like towards the end in the latter seasons, like season 5, 6, Shane was actually right. He was just like way ahead of them, right? When it comes to mentality. And when they reach Alexandria, Rick is Shane. Do you remember the scene where Rick finds out Jesse is taken? Jesse is married. His hand goes to his gun instinctively. That's a shame move, right? That's what he was doing in the woods when he was, like pointing at Rick with his shotgun, right? And Rick is doing the same thing in Alexandria. And also when he gets into a fight with Jesse's husband, everyone comes, comes to stop him. And Rick is just going crazy, like covered in blood, looking, very fearsome. And like he makes this whole speech. You don't get it, do you? You're naive, soft. You just hesitate. Let's fight, right? We're the one who survived, whatever. Not verbatim. I'm just paraphrasing, but you get it, right? And like how everyone looks at Rick in that scene is how Rick looked at Shane when he let out all those walkers from the barn.
Enough! Rick, it ain't like it was before. Now, if y'all want to live, if you want to survive, you gotta fight for it. Your way of doing things is done. Things don't get better because you want them to. Starting right now, we have to live in the real world.
On my rewatch, I found a lot of parallels between Rick and Shane, like when it comes to their actions and mentalities. And it's very good writing, like it's ironic and poetic that Rick becomes like Shane, who he judged, and denied like earlier. And also, the whole Sophia situation. Shane was right about it too because everyone is clinging to hope, right? Sophia is alive. She's wandering around in the woods, like they are optimistic. But Shane's like, no way, no how. We're not gonna put our lives on the line for a girl who is gone, right? On the surface, Shane seems like cold, insensitive, just cruel. Especially he's saying it in front of Carol, right? As a like bastard. I was angry on my first watch, but actually Shane is logical because the first 72 hours are critical in kidnapping investigations, right? And after that, you're looking for a body, statistics, and that was before, right? That time window is narrower in the apocalypse, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know, but looking for a girl in the woods full of walkers is just pointless. It's not worth the risk. And they're risking their lives for nothing, basically. And also the Rondo situation. Everyone is leaning towards letting him go and rolling dice. If he comes back with his friends group, then so be it. We're gonna fight. And Shane is just hell-bent on killing him, and there is standing in his way. No way, we're not gonna kill him. for something he might not be going to do, right? We need to hold on to humanity, right? We need to maintain this idealism, right? But Shay knows idealism, the kind of holy bullshit is a liability in this world. We need to be tough and cold to make it. And Shay was right. Like giving the benefit of the doubt to strangers in that world is a huge mistake. It's proven in the Governor arc, Terminus arc, Negan arc, right? It's Shay was right. You shouldn't like let your guard down. You should be always like extra cautious. And if they let him go, let Ronda go, I'm sure he would come back with an army and destroy them. I'm 100% sure. And also, like what's interesting with Shane is how he has the season 6, 7 mentality from the get-go in season 1, which is crazy because it takes Rick like 5 seasons, 6 seasons to finally come to terms with that kind of, you know, mentality, right? To fully embrace the Shane mentality. Even the people at the terminus, they used to be good people, right? They used to be so welcoming. That's why they posted all those signs along the tracks to invite all those survivors into their station, the terminus, right? But it backfired. They got attacked. They lost their friends and families, and so they had to be, you know, they didn't have to be cannibalists, I guess, but they changed their defense mechanism, right? And even Negan, he used to be, he was pre-apocalypse, he was a high school gym teacher, if my memory serves, and he lost his wife and he basically went through hell and he changed. And people have to go through some deep shit to become like Shane, right? But Shane is equipped with the kind of, mentality from the get-go. And it is almost funny, but it's fascinating. And as much as I want to admit Shane was right, shooting Otis is such a dick move. Like, how could you do that? Especially because I like Otis. He's so determined to be helpful for the group for the sake of Carl. He feels so guilty about shooting Carl Baxton. He's trying to make up for it by bringing back those medical supplies. But Shane's like, I'm sorry, man. Boom, and left him there. That is, you know, out of line. I was like, this motherfucker. But it was actually smart if you think about it. Maybe that was the only way to make it out that situation, right? So it is maybe justified. He shot Carl, he caused the whole situation to begin with. So maybe I don't know, it is 50-50. I don't know, but it doesn't sit with me. Like shooting your friend like that. I mean, not a friend, a stranger, practically, but that is not good. And also in my YouTube feed, I see a lot of videos like, what if Shane survived? What if Shane like made it? Would it be a smooth sailing for the group, against the governor, Terminus, Negan? I think when it comes to the governor's group, Shane would be, very helpful. Having him around would make a huge difference going against the governor, considering they had only a handful of capable fighters. Rick, Shane, Daryl, right? Only three, maybe. So it'll be easier, I guess. But against Negan, I don't think so. The same outcome, they would be lined up and, in the open, and they just maybe Negan would bash Shane's head in instead of Abraham, which could be a little satisfying if you don't like Shane. Whatever, but I just wanted to talk about Shane because my rewatch changed the whole experience about Shane. I love it. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.